right. So speaking of, we talked about the women submissions and everything. Let's get into the man one, because the men one was really interesting to me. Mm-hmm. So, and we asked the men first. We did the women more because I was like, at that point, I'm kind of curious, but my real curiosity was with men. Right. So the question was, are you a straight man with a girl bestie? 66% of them said yes. 24% of them said no. 10% said other.
That's a wild statistic.
It's insane to me that many men have female besties.
Right.
The person that said other, I know one of them DM'd me, and it was my bestie. I call him my guy bestie, right, because he's the guy that I talk to the most, probably. Mm-hmm. Where he messaged me and he was like, you know what, technically, yes, you're my female bestie, but we don't talk that often. But you are the girl that I'm the closest with. So I was like, okay, that I understand, because we're not besties in the sense of like you and me, where we talk every day for like probably accumulatively like hours a day.
I would say at least like on average, at least 2 hours a day. Yeah, I feel like we talk.
Because I get a lot of steps in when I talk to you.
Yeah.
So,
and like some days, like if we hang out, if you want to count that as talking, that's like minimum 3 hours.
Oh yeah, when we hang out, I don't think it's ever less than like 3 to 4 hours even.
Right.
And even then we have talked before.
Yeah.
Before
we've already
that day.
Sort of introduced to what we're going to talk about later.
So what was super fascinating to me is that 66% of them said yes, I have a female bestie. 25% or 24% said no. The next question was, do you have more girlfriends than guy friends? And 34% said yes, 66% said no. So 3/4 of these people, almost 3/4, I guess 2/3, whatever. Yeah, 2/3.
Yeah, about 2/3.
Said no.
So
I have a female bestie.
I have one or two female besties, and then I have a slew of men that I don't talk to anything about.
Yeah, and I don't really like them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt like to me.
That's the vibes of what those answers mean to me also.
Yeah. And what I was asking myself was, if the majority of your friends are male, why are your best friends women? Right. And we did ask that. So we'll kind of go into like the comfort levels and emotional vulnerability and everything like that in a second, after we get a couple of the answers, because the answers were really interesting to me. They were kind of all over the place. So I think every man has a different reason for it. But the question was, why are you besties with a woman? Or why do you have more female friends than male friends? One person said that all of his guy friends are dead, and I believe this person's military. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is. All my guy friends are dead, and girls choose me because they think I'm safe or something. I don't know why. Which, to me, rose the question, we kind of talked about this before the podcast, was, so then are women the ones keeping that friendship alive? Are they the ones doing all of the emotional labor to keep that friendship alive?
Yeah.
So, interesting thing to think about.
Right.
Somebody else said, I met my best friend at work like 16 years ago, and at this point we're like siblings, which I, as somebody who has worked in like corporate America and been to offices and I've never done the whole all my work husband thing, but I've seen it.
Right.
And when people say something like, oh, he's just my work husband, she's just my work wife, or when they're like, oh yeah, we fight like siblings.
Yeah,
I'm like, ew.
It's just like my sister.
I've never said that. I don't think I've ever said that about a guy, where I'm like, except for maybe one guy where I'm like, oh, he's kind of like my little brother.
Right.
But like, even that's not true. Like, nobody's ever like your fucking sibling, in my opinion.
Right.
Like,
and I feel like you meant it more as like little, as in younger than me.
Yeah.
And you want to take care of him.
Yeah, he's my little nugget. I want to make sure that he's like okay.
Right.
But
not in like a tee like
right.
We're siblings.
We
like,
fight like siblings. But I mean, I understand, because a lot of men, I feel like, say those kinds of things and they don't realize how much we hate them.
Yeah, that's probably like they think a meaning means something. Yeah. And we take that meaning and we like know other bad things that have come from that.
I'm like, ew. Somebody else said proximity in life. The closest guy friends that they had are married and they have kids or a house, etc. So the last person on here, because I do have more answers, but I'll get into those later. Somebody said, because I feel like it's easier to talk to women about my emotional issues, which, I mean, that made so much sense. Because I know when you and I have talked about this before, when I'm like, why does a guy have a female best friend? If my significant other had a best friend that was female, I would think that was really weird. Yeah. And I'd be like, why? Like, are you talking about our issues with her? Like, that would make me feel, for sure, a sort of insecurity.
Yeah.
But I would also be like, what the fuck? Because that's weird to me.
It would be weird to me, yeah.
Right. But then when this person mentioned it's easier to talk to women about my emotional needs or my emotional issues, etc., that's when it kind of clicked for me that I was like, oh, women are a safer space. Women are easier to talk to. Of course. Like, if you are lucky enough as a man to find a woman that is allowing you to open up to her and you're not her significant other, then, like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to hold on to that? Why wouldn't you be like,
right?
Yeah, I want to talk to this person all the time. So I thought that was interesting.
For sure.
But I think, you know, talking about comfort levels with women and emotional vulnerability and people feeling seen with the same gender and whatnot. I know with me as a woman, when I talk to other women, my best friends that are women, etc., it's easier for me to have certain conversations, whether they're super private, maybe it's talking about the gynecologist or talking about this or talking about that, whatever. I feel way comfier talking about that with a woman.
Yeah, because they have similar experiences and insights than as you. So
right. But then it's like, men, are they not getting that?
See, and that's where I was trying to think of what I was putting together, what I was trying to think, because when you say, or when you said that the men's results were what they were, and that a lot of men, and you're like, I get it, because women are more, you know, emotionally available and like willing to talk about emotion and stuff. I get that, but like, do they really have the capacity to know that was the reason for being that girl's friend? I mean, I'm sure some do, but I feel like a lot of men, like, they just see, oh, this woman's nice and trying to nurture me, like, I want to fuck her.
Right.
I don't know. I just like, I jumped to that point where, like, can men really be capable of being a good friend to a woman and not eventually having feelings for that woman?
Right. And I feel very much the same way. I think that having a male best friend that understands your needs and your issues and lets you talk to him and everything, because I've had friends like that. I've had male friends like that. There has never for me been that need of, well, I think I'm going to try to date him, because as a woman and somebody who is trying to pick the right partner based on a lot of things, I don't just look at that. Right. I don't just look at, well, he listens to me. It's like, no, I'm looking at a lot of other things too. There's a lot of other factors that go into whether or not I can be with somebody. Now with a man, I think, and this is all just Mal and I speaking from our points of views. Obviously we're women. So
there's always exceptions to everything.
So,
for sure.
But I think one of the biggest parts of being a woman that a straight man may desire is the nurturing factor, is the listening to you and talking to you and taking care of you to some capacity. And I think that when you do that with a man and you're listening to him and you're a shoulder to cry on, lean on, whatever, I think that it's, how can you not? Because you don't have anybody else. Women, I have my mom, I have you, I have other people, I have I have enough safe spaces, whereas a man might only have that one. And
so it's like they're almost bound to have some sort of feelings trickle over.
Exactly, because you don't have to differentiate that with one of your dude friends listening to you and everything. It's just this one woman, and well, maybe I can be attracted to her. It's kind of, you know, so I feel the same way where I'm like, I don't trust that. I don't.
Right.
And maybe, you know, you can call me insecure all you want. I realize that there's an underlying insecurity to that. I don't know if I would ever be secure enough for my significant other to have a best friend that he talks to about everything, but like maybe he doesn't even tell me. I'd be like, that's crazy. We should be each other's best friends to some capacity.
Yeah, I think I just, and I'm not saying it's guys' fault, but I think most men they're not emotionally intelligent enough to understand that there's certain things that are okay to share as a opposite sex best friend here, you know, whatever, that I just wouldn't like. It would feel uncomfortable to me. And then I would question the girl best friend, being like, why do you allow this to continue at the level that it's continuing?
Right.
Like, I mean, granted, I've never really had to deal with this specifically. The only time I sort of had to deal with this, like, was when I first started dating my now husband. There was a girl that was like, I wouldn't even think that they were best friends, but she was one of those girls, at least from my perspective, that was just wanted the attention of all the boys that she was friends with. She didn't want to date any of them, but she just didn't like when they had girlfriends that weren't, you know what I mean?
I remember her.
Yeah.
It took me a second, but I was like,
yeah. So that's the only experience I have. Yeah. So I remember I would be hanging out with my now husband, and we would be like, oh, we have a weekend plan doing with this or that. And she would be like, he would tell me that she's like calling and texting him, being like, you're hanging out with her again.
That's fucking insane.
Like I was intruding on friendship time.
I don't think I've ever been like that at any age of my life where I've been like, you're hanging out with your girlfriend again.
Right. No, and I think that's why I maybe that's my like subconscious negative feelings about women being best friends with men. Like, a significant other, whether it's a girl or a boy, should always, like, Roy will always come before Stephanie. Yeah. You know, like, I'm married to him. You know, I have to take care of him first. Yeah. You're not very far behind. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is just how it has to be. Because he's my family,
he's
you know?
Your family, right.
But I just, I don't know.
I would never expect anything more of that, like, with that from you or from my buddy Jason. If he ever, like, when he was in a relationship, I would never, like, because I know what it's like to be on the other side of that, where, you know, your boyfriend or whatever has a girl best friend and it sucks. So I would never want, especially at this age, like, I would never want another woman to go, you're talking to Stephanie again or something. I would hate that. Like,
and I get, like, at that point when my circumstance I was bringing up, we were sort of newish. And I get, like, you need to make time for your friends as well. Right. But at the same point, if there was, like, a big plan that they had, which that happened a few times that I wasn't a part of.
That's weird.
Then they can go do that. But it was, like, we were just hanging out. It wasn't like you're ditching us for her. It was like, we already planned to hang out. Right. And, like, last minute, I can't hang out with you because I'm hanging out with her. You know what I mean?
And I think it was a lot more prevalent back then because I think every time we dated somebody, it was under the assumption that it's probably not going to be the one. So why are you, changing everything for this person, whatever. Whereas now, I think now when I see, most people with their significant others, I'm like, who knows? This might be it. This might be the one. And I don't want to get in the way of that. And I would hope the same thing of my friends like I said, I don't have really any close guy friends except for Jay. And, whenever he finds out I'm dating somebody new, he does root for that person until I might say something that's like, yeah, he did this. And he kept his mouth shut about that last guy. Yeah. Until we broke up and he's like, this is what I wanted to say. Like, I wasn't my place to say it. And he was right. It wasn't his place really to say it. If you would have told me that while we were dating, I wouldn't have thought of it. I would have been like,
that was the same thing that I did too. I might have said more things than him. Yeah. Being a girl, and you said these little instances that came up, and I was like, well, that's kind of fucky, but maybe give him the benefit of doubt in this way, or maybe it was just that, but like you should definitely talk to him or whatever. I would like kind of go back and forth with you on that, but yeah, I feel like as a good friend to anyone, no matter their gender, you need to be like, oh, well, I'm going to take that information in. I don't like your significant other, but I'm going to keep that to myself until, it's a necessary thing to talk about.
Right. Like, and you've always been very good about like, because I think, again, you and I understand each other so well and so deeply because I think we have a lot of the same feelings when it comes to stuff. We have a lot of the same anxieties and whatnot. And you've always been really good about saying like, you might not want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you, this is what I think. Right. And you explain why you think that. And you're never attacking me. You're always just saying whatever. And you've done that, but you've also done it to both ends where you've been like, sometimes I'm on your side, sometimes I'm not. Because you might be have you thought about this? And that's what I need. Like, I think that's what everybody needs. I think every friend, every girl, every guy needs somebody in their life that's going to be not just honest with them, because sometimes brutal honesty is not necessary, but honest to the capacity of like, I'm doing this for your own good and I'm doing it gently.
Right.
You're not going to be an asshole.
I'm not being a devil's advocate, just be a devil's advocate.
Right.
But
that shit pisses me off.
Right.
Oh,
but if like
God.
there's like something I could see like detrimental that you're not looking at that could like fuck with you in the future, then I might, yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think,
going back to the easier to talk to women about emotional issues, so we have like a shared document about this one. I put 100%.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because it is easier to talk to women about your emotional issues.
Right.
As a woman, I agree with that. You know, even I have a husband who's really good at discussing issues. He really is. Like, he's still a man, so he still has his downfalls. But he is really good about talking about that stuff. But still, it's easier for me to sometimes bring it up to my girlfriends because, it's just you have the gender, quote unquote, if that's what you want to call it. We have like similar experiences. We have similar, like, we were raised similarly, I guess. Like, if you're raised as a girl, you're raised a certain way. You know, like, how that feels. I don't know. It's just, you just gravitate towards that. So.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I think that kind of segues us into the next two answers that I got from that question. The question was, why are you best friends with women, or why do you have more female friends than male friends? And one of the people said, I genuinely don't know why. I want more guy friends, but I never click with them. Fair. Okay. And then the next person said, I hate most men. I ended up dating my best friend who was a woman. And it really fucked up our friendship. And what I thought was interesting about both these people is that they're both very progressive, forward-thinking men that are very pro women's rights, they're fantastic, wonderful men that are just fighting for equality and rights and everything like that.
They have good intentions.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that might make it harder for them to find friendships in men, because a lot of men, most men, I would say the majority of men, don't think that way. Right. They have a mindset that maybe it's not as extreme as hating women, but I do think that there is, misogyny that is in them that they don't know about.
Prevalent these days.
Well, and especially in the area that we live in. Right. So we see that a lot. And, one of these men was from an area that's close to here. So I thought that these answers kind of point to something bigger almost, where it's they have the ability to open up. They have that in them because obviously they have women in their lives that they open up to. And
they feel the need.
And they
want to open up.
They want to.
They want that space.
They just don't feel safe with the other men.
Right.
And that's just one of those like, well, you guys did that to yourselves, Right. And I get it. I mean, I understand it to an extent. I think at some point, depending on your age, I think at some point you have to realize what the issue is and work against it. Yeah. And, there's that trend on TikTok where it's holding your boys accountable for things. If you see that they're being shitty or they're saying things or whatever, correct them.
Right.
And that's something I've been seeing lately.
Dude, that's not cool. Like, it's just, and that's what it is. It's like guys are just trying to look cool for each other. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you just have to be one of the first guys in spaces like that says, that's actually not very cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Like, it's actually cooler to be like a decent human and to care about other people and to care about our future and care about our world, not to be a fucking homophobic or misogynistic or racist person.
Right. It's like, have you tried not?
Right. Just like be like nice. Like being cool and nice is actually cool.
Yeah. And I think that is going to lead us into where we talk about toxic masculinity, because that is, I think, one of the biggest, if not the biggest theme in men and how they treat women, how they navigate through life and everything. And what I did want to ask you, and I think we should ask each other, is what does toxic masculinity mean to you? What is it? Not like the textbook definition of it, but like when somebody says, like, if Evie asked you, what is toxic masculinity? Like, what would you tell her? What does it mean to you? What have you seen firsthand?
Okay. Well, For bringing Evie into it, I'm assuming Evie is at least
she's older. She's
21 or something.
Like, she's old enough.
Right. So when I think of toxic masculinity, I think of literally like a guy that thinks it's cool and manly to be an asshole, to treat other women like objects, to saunter around and just, they want to make themselves like the focus of the room for all the wrong reasons. They want to flaunt that, oh, I might have money, or oh, I might have looks, but I'm going to be an asshole to literally everyone around me. Usually, if I think of toxic masculinity, I usually think like most of the time right-winged type of person. I think of big flashy car or big obnoxious pickup truck. They only care about their image, honestly. Their image is like, that's like probably the biggest one. They care about their image only, what they look like or how they come across to other people. And they like, and how they want to come across is powerful and cool and the envy of every other dude, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was, I think yours was definitely more like on the superficial, like, because you're right. I think dudes want to look good for other dudes. Like, and that's essentially it, right? And I think mine is essentially the same thing. And it's more of the whole, like, you're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to show emotions.
Yeah.
Because I remember I dated somebody once that, you know, we talked about kids and whatnot. And I remember him saying, if I have a kid and he plays sports, he's not allowed to cry. And, like, I would pull him off the field if he did that. And I was just like, and for me, I was like, that's crazy, because if I ever had a boy, I would want, if I had a girl or a boy, I'm raising them the same, where I want to make sure that you feel comfortable enough to, if you're crying, I want to know why. If you're old enough, obviously, to tell me why are you crying? Are you uncomfortable? You don't want to do this? Like, you don't have to do it. Like,
right.
It depends on what it is, right? Like, with sports, you're supposed to teach kids how to stay committed to something and whatever else, but there comes a point where if your kid is hurt or feeling a certain way or whatever,
they're feeling so uncomfortable that they're
allowed to
cry,
outburst. Right. And you know what you can do next, it's a teachable moment, you know. Okay, well, you were crying because you were mad, you were crying because you were sad, this is why you were, like, let's talk about it, let's
let's break it down. It's okay that you were crying. Everybody should have a time where they can cry or need to cry, get it out 100%. But now the important part is what, as men or women, what you do with that emotion.
Right. Exactly. And so I think for me, that's kind of like the definition of like the toxic masculinity, or I guess what I've seen,
like,
is that
basically like emotional constipation.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yes, is like you're plugging it up, and you're like, you're not allowed to cry. And I'm sure if we got into the nitty gritty of the psychology behind why I choose certain men that I've chosen, it has to do with that and wanting to nurture, you know, angry men that feel like, you know, once I feel like they're being emotionally open with me, then I kind of like feed off of that or whatever.
Yeah, I think what I said and what you said is literally the full, excuse me, I brought my mind, the full picture of what toxic masculinity is. Because 100%, I left that part out. It's the emotional, like, stifling of men, plus the showboaty, I'm the coolest fucking guy that ever came around part of men.
Yeah, it's like you're faking it till you make it, but what if you don't make it? And in the meantime, you're just bottling up those emotions and you're not allowed to talk about it. So then thinking about it more and more and typing out this outline, it made more sense to me why men would have a best friend that is a female.
Right.
But again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, where I'm just like, but that still is a scary thing as a significant other, because why am I not that female for you now? It's okay to shift that. And I think any girl, like the friend of whoever, felt anger towards that. I feel like that's a weird thing to feel. I understand you might be losing a friend, but your friend is dating somebody, they're with a significant other. And if that person is a good person, then why are you?
Yeah.
Just don't be weird about it. It's okay to grieve it, but don't be weird.
It's almost like the whole underlying weirdness about it is that men, and this isn't necessarily all like men's fault. It is society and the way things, I mean, it is kind of the society that men built, but leaving that aside, it is like the way society is like built right now.
Yeah.
So they just don't have a good, like, they're not being taught very well how to express their emotions. And like, it's the fabric of the backbone of society is not built for them right now. So I get that. But that since they don't have that emotional intellect and, you know, security and stuff, them falling back on the nurturing emotional intelligence of women as friends is just like, you don't have a lot of men don't have the emotional intelligence to really understand about being a best friend to a woman. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like,
well, and I think that kind of ties into it because we're talking about toxic masculinity and how you grow up with it as a man, and how, you know, you're being taught, don't cry, don't talk about this, don't do whatever, man up. There's no crying in baseball, whatever. So then when these men grow up, now we're dealing with them and they don't know how to show emotion. They don't know what they know is that they bottle stuff up. And how come you're not bottling stuff up?
Yeah.
How come you're talking to me about this right now? Like, that's weird. And you almost start to understand, like, oh my God, that's why you're like that. That's why you can't open up to me. That's why you are so toxic in these kinds of whatever. And why when I talk to you about things, you don't know how to handle it because you haven't had the practice to do that.
Right.
So you're growing up having no idea how to do this. And now you're dating women that are like, why don't you know how to do this? However, and the opposite side of that, at a certain age, you have to recognize that within yourself.
Right.
It's and you have to work on it.
It's like any other, I wouldn't call this a mental health issue, but any other like issue you've grown up with, like, oh, I've always had issues with possessiveness, or I've always had issues with rage, or I've always had whatever. I understand having that to a degree when you're young, because you're young, you're learning. But yeah, after reaching maturity around
figure it out
at least age 25, you need to start looking inward and being like, I need to figure me out.
And maybe you don't fix it, but I think you at least talk about it. And I think that's something that, like, it took me a really long time to figure out what is going on with me, why I act a certain way for certain situations and whatnot. But I think I've always been very vocal with men and with significant others about, like, why I feel the way I feel. And, hey, this makes me feel this way. I need reassurance. This is what I need. And I've always been very, like, up and open about that. So I've never hid that. Maybe I haven't fixed it, but I vocalized it. So I know what the issue is, but I need help. And nobody's ever been willing enough to, like, help me during that. Which I get, it's not their responsibility to fix it, but as a significant other, wouldn't you want to help your significant other through stuff?
Well, and some of your issues specifically, it does require at least some understanding on your significant. Like, you definitely can do most of the work yourself. You just need some understanding.
Right. So then after the emotional suppression, which we talked about, which was about the whole, well, you're not allowed to express anything, you're not allowed to get emotional, you know, these men essentially, they know that they can feel things, they just don't know how to talk about it. So the next thing that we wanted to talk about was the surface level bonding versus a deeper connection, which is, and I know this is something that I find to be true most times, is that male friendships often revolve around some kind of a sport, an activity, an extracurricular, gaming, work, the gym. Like your bond is something like that. And this is, oh yeah, my buddy from the gym. The one that you talk to once a day, you say 3 words to him and then you go home.
Right.
That's your buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of like, these are, again, yeah, they're friendships, but they're very surface level. You mean the guy that you watch football with once a week? Like,
right. I mean, and it's fine to meet friends through hobbies.
Right.
Like, I know my husband's friends that he still talks to this day. He met through hobbies, or he met through partying, or he met through work.
Right.
But yeah, it's not just about that. It's about, like, when you actually hang out, are you actually talking about the things that are stressing you out now?
Yeah, are you catching up on work and life and your significant others and your kids or whatever?
Right. Are you just
talking about the game?
Oh, when I turned that wrench That's what that wrench does, or we played that game, or remember when we went to get that beer one day, like
Hawks and Packer,
Are you actually talking about stuff?
Yeah, or you're just talking about like who's
venting,
playing,
and
or are you having full conversations about actual significant things in your lives,
right?
Or is it just like, well, the Packers are playing the Bears today, like cool, and like their senses of humor ends up being like. Really just roasting each other, or like I don't know, you're just sitting there going, oh, like, oh, you still butthurt over that girl, versus maybe what a girl would say, which is, hey, how are you doing since the breakup?
Right.
Are you guys okay? Like,
right.
Are you good? And,
how you been dealing with everything?
Yeah. And I feel like men maybe they don't get that. And if you guys don't get that, I'm sorry. Like I'm genuinely I'm sorry.
It sucks.
But it's not our fault.
Right. It's something that
we care.
It's like we want so badly for you guys to heal. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I know
I've done a lot of work on that.
I know most women would help most men to heal. But what I guess like part of what I want to get through at some point in this episode, or whatever episode we're on at this point, is you guys have to start. You guys got to start the work. Yeah. You guys have to start like speaking up and being like, hey, I know you want to maybe be misogynistic right now, but like, let's not. Like, hey, or like, let's actually talk about what's going on with you in your head or your heart or whatever. Not like what's going on with your dick. You know what I mean?
Well, and I know that like some men, again, they bottle things up, and I've talked to men before or significant others especially, where I've been like, you know, I'll say something and I'll be like, I know, I get it. Nothing ever upsets you. And it's like, well, no, things upset me. I just don't talk about them. We'll talk about them.
Right.
Like, and I've had arguments with, you know, exes or, you know, whoever, where I've been like, and then during the argument, they'll say, well, when you do that, it hurts my feelings. And I'm like, well, why haven't you said that? Like, I remember it took me so long to finally learn that, like, I kind of throw these jabs out there. And it's painful for them, where they go, yeah, I know you think you're teasing me, but it's actually kind of hurtful when you say things like that. I understand that. And that's all you have to say to me. Hey, when you make a joke that, you know, oh, you're, you know, dating the Amazon guy or something, and that actually kind of hurts my feelings when you say that, which I know that's never happened before. But like, I'm saying, like, I'm just trying to think of an example of whatever. And it's like, well, then tell me that something that I'm doing is hurting your feelings. Or, hey, when you think that I'm doing this behind your back, that kind of makes me feel like shit. I'm not. And like, you know, whatever, I guess any example that you can use in that.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think to an extent, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think if guys are getting upset about you playfully bashing on them.
No, I've never had that
whatever.
Before,
that's like that's a skill issue. Like that, those guys need to get better at whatever. But yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, I then talk about it. Let's like chat to me about it. Be like, hey, you know what? When you did that, it made me feel like shit. Okay, cool. Why did it make you feel like shit? You know, I'm kidding, right? Or whatever else. So, oh, what's up, buddy?
Oh, the stash is descending from his
descending from his tower. I stepped on his foot earlier and
he took a nap.
Yeah, he
took
was
a nap
like, you know
about
what
it.
I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna go sleep.
You're gonna take a nap about it.
All right, chubby boy. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to maybe ask people on Instagram or whatever, men, the last time that they had any sort of like deep conversation with one of their buddies, with one of their boys. Like, when was the last time you had a conversation about like
how you were feeling?
Yeah, how you were feeling, your hopes,
how something was affecting you,
like how your life is going,
mind,
and not
body,
just,
soul.
Yeah, and not just like, oh yeah, work's good. Like,
right.
No, I want like a meaningful conversation.
Right. Like I got this contract.
Yeah.
And I like
no work.
I like lifted 45 pounds.
Right, and no lifting things. We
right.
Don't care. Yeah.
No.
I'm talking about like real
real shit.
Real shit.
Nitty-gritty human shit.
Yeah, and I think what I wrote down was some things that I think women have that men seek when it comes to an emotional relationship with somebody or a friendship or whatever. And I think women are more receptive and we're more emotionally safe.
Right.
So I think women are more likely to hear you out and while we can be judgmental when it comes to certain things and gossipy and tea and whatever, I feel like when it comes to real life shit and real vulnerabilities, women are very open.
If someone's like actually upset and they're coming to me, I don't think I'm going to be judgmental. I think most people wouldn't be judgmental. I feel like they would be more like, oh, this person's really like having some feelings right now. Like, I'm going to listen and whatever. I mean, sure, if they're like, oh, I just murdered 10 people and...
I don't think I want to hear that.
Right. Like, I'm going to judge you a little bit and think you're a murderer and call the cops.
Like, I don't think we're close enough for this.
Right. I'm going to call the cops. But there's certain things that I feel like most people would be like, oh, no, I'm not going to be judgmental about that. I want to help you with that.
I want to make sure that you're okay. Like, what can I help with?
Sorry. I thought, like, for a second you were muted, but you weren't.
But yeah, I think that while it's really great that women are, you know, emotional safe spaces for everybody, for men, for women, for whoever, I do think that women end up becoming an emotional outlet for men. Because oftentimes we're the only one they're talking to, you know, best friend, significant other, whoever.
Right. Because like, it's like incorrectly assumed that's like a womanly role. Right. To be somebody who's going to be like, someone who's going to, it's safe to talk to her about my emotions. It's safe to her because she's going to nurture me. She's going to take care of me. But I think I think it's manly as fuck when a man can take care of their friends and their family. Yeah. That's a man. A man is a person who's going to step up and do whatever it takes to make sure the people around him are happy and safe and taken care of. Yeah. Not a man. A man is not someone who's like, I don't cry. Rub some dirt in it. Like, I'm going to build like a fucking...
I'm going to go eat some red meat. And
I'm going to build a bomb shelter and fucking eat a whole cow. Like, that's not a man, like,
what are you doing right now? And I think, there were some of the pressures that I wrote down of men trying to avoid the vulnerability with another man is because they have that fear of being judged, and they likely will not be judged when they talk to a woman. They have a fear of looking weak, which they might feel the same way when talking to a woman, but I think women are really good at nurturing that and making sure, like, no.
Pause. I think, literally, if there's any men listening to this right now, what do you think sounds stronger? Option A, a person who hides what they're truly feeling, masks it with other, like, more aggressive traits, makes fun of other people for feeling something? Or is it the person who admits that they're feeling a certain way, seeks help, seeks assistance and support? Like, who sounds like the weaker person?
Right. No, I agree with you.
Sorry.
No,
that's what I like. I feel like that men don't connect with. Is they don't understand that weakness is literally hiding from your true feelings, not working it out, not like figuring out how to be better. It's like, that's weakness. Weakness is not feeling something.
Right. Yeah.
And showing it.
Right. And I think the way that you worded it, the answer would be obvious. And I think men don't think of it that way. They don't think of it as like, well, one person's hiding something or being dishonest about how they're feeling, and the other option is to be honest and, be good. I think men see it as like, I'm going to be weak or I'm going to be strong. Right. And being strong means shutting the fuck up and I'm not going to talk to people about it.
Right. It means shoving everything down and not like facing it.
Yeah. If I talk to men about... Or if I talk to anybody about this, I'm going to look weak. I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to get made fun of. I'm going to get roasted, whatever. And I think that a healthy male relationship looks a lot like what a healthy female relationship looks like, which is you're checking up on each other. You're opening up to each other. You're supporting each other without going in so hard on someone.
Right. Yeah, the occasional roast here and there, I love it as much as anyone else. Like, if Stephanie is like, "Oh, I didn't want to eat this one thing because it looked weird," I'd be like, "Man up and try that fucking thing." Like, just try it, whatever. Like, that's a stupid example, but you know what I'm saying. I know what you mean. Yeah, like sometimes we've been there before. An occasional roast on a slight character flaw fine.
Right.
But it's time and place.
Right. Ignoring everything else just to roast them is shitty.
Read the room. If they're actually upset about something, don't go in on them.
I'm being serious. Can you be fucking real for a minute? And but yeah, I think the inability to do all of those things is what makes men unappealing to men, like the people that answered those two questions or those questions earlier, where, well, I don't want to hang out with other dudes or whatever because they're like this. And I get that. That makes sense, of course. Like, why would you want to hang out with them if you don't have that same mentality or anything else?
Or hang out with them in a capacity of more than just chilling and service level shit.
Right, exactly. The surface level. Like, we watch the game on Sundays, but we're not close.
Right.
You know, and I feel like I've heard that a lot with guys too, where it's like, yeah, we talk, but like, I don't really know much about him. Right. He might have a girlfriend. I don't know.
Right. You're like, what? As women?
What do you mean?
What?
I'm like, I know everything about like them on a fucking pretty deep level.
Right.
Like they're hangout number one.
Right.
I got their last name. I'm going to tell you everything about them. But you know, that all kind of brings us into the broader impacts of that. And I think that is the loneliness amongst men.
Yeah, the quote unquote loneliness epidemic.
The loneliness epidemic. The men are lonely. Oh no. And these are things that I think are brought on by the toxic masculinity that we were talking about, where like men are not allowed to act a certain way, talk about certain things or anything. And with that, you get the quote unquote red pill effect, which is something that you and I learned a lot more about this week or this last week, where boys and men are being fed this content that is, in my opinion, it's meant to keep them alone. It's meant to keep them angry. It's meant to be like, well, you got to treat women this way. And they're never going to find a woman that way.
Oh, 100%. It's another tactic.
Yeah. And that's crazy that they don't see that.
I feel like it's another tactic to keep our society at a stagnant level.
Yeah.
And like, this is maybe a little bit conspiracy theorist of me, but I completely think that the way our like Western society is rigged right now is it's literally like just benefiting the top 0.5% or whatever it is of rich ass people.
Yeah.
And all of us normal ass people are just kept down, hating each other, upset, lonely, sad, whatever.
Right.
And it's just like, this is another way of them doing that.
Well, yeah, because while they're feeding you lines that are 100% not going to work on a woman, by the way, and because it reminds me a little bit, and I just thought about this now, it kind of reminds me of, remember the pickup artist?
Yeah.
From back in the day, where like the whole tactic was to neg women.
That was John.
I don't remember the name, but I remember
the name of the actor.
Oh, I don't remember.
Isn't it Joan? What's her name? Cusack? Pickup artist?
Oh, I'm not thinking about the movie. I'm thinking about the TV show that was like it was like an actual series where like a guy was teaching boys.
Oh, I never saw that.
Oh yeah, it was like back on like, I want to say VH1 or MTV back in the day. It was called The Pickup Artist, and it was a guy that was teaching men how to pick up women at bars and whatever. And his whole, this is where negging came from.
Right.
Was this guy was telling people when you're in a group of women, you pick the most beautiful one and you make her feel like shit. And you tell her that like, oh, well, you'd be cute if your teeth were fixed. Or, you know, for someone with a nose that big, you're actually very attractive. Oh my God. Something like that makes her feel insecure, makes her feel like you don't want to talk to her. And suddenly she feels like low value in comparison to her friends, etc. And women, every woman I know has been shouting this for years. That does not work on a woman that you want to date. Because what happens is that any woman that's confident or that is not willing to put up with your shit or anything like that is not going to fall for that. Who's going to fall for that are the women that are very insecure and very unhappy. And what's going to happen when you start dating this woman? They're not going to be what you're thinking of, because in your head, you're thinking, well, she's super fucking hot. She's probably too cool for me. And now what you have is somebody who is not that. So now you're disappointed anyways.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's been a thing for a very long time, is that whole negging thing. And that's kind of what the manosphere red pill thing reminds me of now. But now what they're telling you to do is be a piece of shit to women and be this to women and don't respect their opinions and don't respect what they have to say, and you know what's better for the woman. And then while you're doing that, here, you should buy this, and this.
Right.
And they're selling you classes, and they're selling you, items, clothing, and
how to be a man, how to surf the stock market correctly.
Here's a link, give $500 and we're going to teach you how to make, $400 a day or $4,000 a day, or whatever. And what happens is these men get angrier and angrier at women, and they become bigger and bigger losers. And the bigger of a loser that they're becoming, the more they're going to blame, well, it's the woman's fault. I'm doing everything right. It's women that are
they're
bitches.
Just isolating themselves more and more and more, getting
and that's
more
what
upset.
They want.
Yeah. And then, if I give this guy more and more and more of my money, maybe it'll get better.
I'll get there someday.
And eventually,
I'll make enough money.
You're I don't know, clinically depressed. I don't know what happens at the end of that.
It's fucking insane, because I have seen women literally date homeless men and turn them around, and they will date literal fucking homeless men. But you guys are complaining that every woman is a fucking gold digger. No, and there are gold diggers out there, and you know what? They're probably like that for a reason.
They probably were screwed around enough where you know what? I just want money.
And if you're dating one, then that's your prerogative. You're dating one, it's pretty easy to spot if somebody's with you for your money or not. Most of the time, a woman is or is not with you not for your money. It's because of your fucking personality.
I feel like a lot of times when guys claim that a woman's a gold digger, they don't even have money.
I've been called a gold digger by a significant other before, and I made so much more money than him. And I was like, what are we doing?
Right.
Because I have my own place and I have money. What are we talking about here? Right. You make minimum wage. And I'm dating you. So I'm a gold digger because I want you to have a better job. That was what it came down to.
Right.
I don't want you to have a minimum wage job. I think, you deserve more than that.
I think you need, I think what was behind that sentiment is you wanted that person to be the whole potential of what they were.
Well, and because they wanted to move forward in a relationship, and they wanted to get together and move in together. And I'm sorry, but I'm not moving in with somebody that can't pay their share of things, because people can sit here and say finances are not important, but they fucking are.
Or at least want to better for themselves.
Yeah, I want you to be better for yourself.
I think that's if that were my situation, I would think that's almost the more underlying issue is are you okay with making $10 an hour?
Right. Are you okay with not ever being able to afford anything?
If you and I aren't together, you could literally barely afford a small ass apartment with 5 roommates. What do you mean?
And it's I'm at the point in my life, and I was kind of getting there when I was dating this person, was I don't make a ton of money, but I make enough money to where I can live a comfortable-ish life. And if I make a certain, I can put that money towards certain things. And if I don't have somebody that can do the same thing, it's hard for me, because then either I don't get to do those things, or I have to pay for those things.
Or you have to pay double almost.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I have to now, not only am I buying $1,000 ticket for myself, I'm buying one for you too.
Right.
Now I can't afford it. I could afford it before and have $1,000 left over. Now we can't do anything.
Right.
And it's a gold digger. Is insane, by the way. I remember I got accused of being a gold digger once when I was dating somebody too, and I was like, I make more money than them. What are we doing here? And that's why social media is fucking fake.
Yeah.
Because people were calling me that, and I was like, what? I'm the one with the house. What are we doing here?
Wow.
But yeah, it's not. This is the whole the whole red pill manosphere and everything. I don't know if you talked about this already, but we talked about how men end up seeking camaraderie. Yeah. And all it does is, you did mention that it just breeds that emotional isolation and hate and everything. And I think this isn't just an issue with men. I think that can be found in any sort of friendship.
Yeah. I mean, so since there isn't actual emotional support for men, they're feeling so lost and alone, especially out of meaningful relationships with women, that a lot of them are joining this somewhat newish red pill manosphere community, and they love it. They fucking drink it up because they're getting some camaraderie, they're getting some what they think is support, but all it is they're not getting actual emotional human support. They're just getting like,
it's generic, like, you got this, bro.
Like validation, like for being an asshole.
Yeah.
And then that all it does is make more assholes,
Yes.
more emotional isolation, more hate.
It's like idiots uplifting other idiots.
Right. And like, and what's like kind of scary, and this is like a huge part of it. We were both of us recently, we watched that documentary.
Louis Theroux. Or
Louis Theroux, like that big, huge, like famous documentary guy made one about this whole situation. And yeah, I think it's like a lot of it's I think the point I was trying to make was like the sad part is that these guys they're just not going to ever get out of this spiral.
Right.
You know?
I think they're too far in.
Right.
They're too far deep. And I think, I think if you want to transition into like what just like a quick dabble into that documentary, because I think we can do an entire different episode on that, because I know when I watched it, I was infuriated.
Yeah.
I was so fucking mad during it.
Oh, the point I was trying to say too was the sad thing is it's really speaking to young dudes, like young kids.
Super young.
That
children.
don't even have a fully formed frontal lobe.
No, they still don't. They haven't even hit puberty yet.
Yeah, far from it. They're
they're
13,
children.
14-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't even understand how this is fucking them up for the future. Like this like cycle of this toxic masculinity really needs to stop.
Yeah. And it's just like, just to briefly explain what this documentary is. It's on Netflix. I don't remember. It's called like Inside the Manosphere or something like that.
Something about Manosphere. Yeah.
And it's Louis, I think his last name is Theroux. Very huge documentarian, like, he's a very famous journalist, like known for his shit, right? He's the my money don't jiggle guy.
He's basically that is him.
Yeah,
he's basically like a man version of Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
like everyone knows him.
He was incredible during it. I think there was a part of me that was definitely like, I hate that there's no resolution here. And to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler, nothing happens to anybody because nobody is committing any crimes.
Right. Well, and like I went into it. First of all, Stephanie did mention that to me, but I already knew that there wasn't going to be a resolution because this is something that
it's just a documentary.
That's something like, I think the reason he made it in a way is like there needs to start being resolutions.
There has to be conversations about it
because like it's starting to get pretty fucky.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think his role in this documentary, I think he was so genius about the way that he goes about it. And if you guys don't want to hear anything about it right now, then skip to the end. Don't listen to the next episode. But he doesn't do much during it. He doesn't say a whole lot during it.
He asks a couple questions.
He asks a few questions, but mainly what he's doing is he's asking them the same thing that they just told him. So they'll be like, yeah, I'm in a one-sided poly relationship. And he'll be like, I'm sorry, are you saying that you're allowed to be poly, but she's not? Like that, it's not even like investigative shit. He's just literally saying the same thing.
Right. He'll be like, oh, so that means that you're allowed to date other women, but she's not allowed to date other men. And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
does
like,
that anger you?
Right. And then they're like, and then they're getting mad about him rewording something they just said to him.
They rage bait themselves.
Right.
And the entire documentary, as frustrating as it was so funny to me. And there was one part, because I do want to talk about just a couple different parts of it that made me just fucking die, or that really pissed me off. And one of the things that made me die was when one of those kids, first of all, HS Tiki Talkie is a crazy name for an adult man.
I immediately was like, how can you think you're so cool with that name?
Tiki Talkie. And then his mom says something about juice pops, and he goes, I don't want a juice pop, mummy.
Mummy.
And I was like, clutching my pearls. What do you mean? And the way that the mom treated him, though, in that scene, in that moment, I was like, that's part of why you have issues, because she's fucking awful to you.
Well, like, she's infantilizing him.
Yeah, she's treating you like a child, and that's why you're acting like a child, because you probably have the ability to act like a grown man, and You have everything at your fingertips. You're handsome, you're popular, you're whatever, and you could influence people to be good. And instead you don't. But it's also because you're being treated like a fucking child. Like when she was like, oh, you're not even doing that right. I'm like, dude, holy shit. You won't even let him wipe the floor without yelling at him. That's actually kind of crazy. And not to make excuses for these people, obviously.
Right.
But it does make you go, holy shit, what happened to you?
Right.
And you know what? If you had somebody to talk about with it, maybe you wouldn't feel that way, you know?
Yeah.
And
maybe if you have other dudes we could open up to.
Right.
This
and
whole documentary wouldn't have had that happen.
Yeah. And it's just so sad. And like, it was a really hard documentary for me to watch.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of almost like on par, not as bad as the Epstein documentary. I have watched that one in pieces because I watch about 15 minutes and I get so fucking mad that I'm like, I have to stop. This is too dark. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
That was actually made years ago. Too,
it was years ago.
Before all the stuff's actually coming
I just can't bring myself to watch it all fully because it's so infuriating.
Yeah, especially knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
Because I watched it when it first came out.
Right. But like just the first 5 or 10 minutes of it, of the Epstein documentary where they talk about, you know, have you ever had sexual relations with a minor? And I heard the plead the fifth. And I was like, if you plead the fifth to a question like that, you should go to jail.
Yeah.
You should immediately go. I'm sorry, but if you're on the stand for doing some shit like that, you should go to jail. Why are you putting yourself in a situation where you even got this far?
Right.
And like, I don't know. It was a really hard for me to watch. And I don't even have a kid.
I can't think of the word. Rehabsable.
I know what you're trying to say, and I can't
that
say
part
it either.
out.
No, I think we should leave it in. Irreprehensible?
Yes.
Is that a word?
Irreprehensible. I'm having a stroke.
Anemone.
Yes, that word.
Irreprehensible, I think, is the word. Mind you, I have no idea what it means, but I think it's a word.
But it's like it means basically like you literally like that's not, you can't come back from that.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's that to me, and that I mean, I haven't finished it, but anytime somebody's like, well, what if so-and-so's in the Epstein files? I was like, get rid of everyone. Fuck everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you knew this guy was even like a little bit of that, why are you near him? Get away from him.
Literally, it could irreprehensible, blameless, faultless, or not deserving of censure.
Okay. I didn't know what it meant. I just knew the word.
But yeah. Anyway.
But no, I think that
documentary was that. So
the Epstein one was fucking insane. That's probably something we can talk about.
The Manosphere one, however,
the Manosphere was very eye opening. It was, like you said, I'm glad that it's out there because I would love to see that be more. I would love to see more awareness around that because I think a lot of people, and I told my parents to watch it too because I wanted them to know, hey, this is what a lot of guys are like now.
It's like
they're very
the culture now, and not everybody's like this, and not everybody knows about this stuff, but the culture now is very much that. Yeah,
and the men right now are very misogynistic outwardly, and they disguise it as, I love women, I respect women, I love women so much that I know what's best for them. Hey, that's actually crazy. Like, and I've heard men, and I'm sure they say it in that documentary, but on TikTok too, where it's like, well, you know how women say they want a guy who like cries? They don't want that. And it's like, how dare you tell me what I fucking want or don't want, actually? I do. Do I want a guy that cries over every single little thing? No. But that's what you're twisting it as. I want somebody who can be emotionally vulnerable with me, that can communicate with me.
Friends, fans. This is a good example. When Bruce Willis's character cries for
Chicken boy
for a solid like 5 hours or whatever it was.
That's too much.
That's too much.
That's a bit much.
Most women don't want that.
Well, and also she didn't want to hear about his traumas weeks into dating.
A few dates in. Right?
That's different.
Right. But if Roy were to come to me, my husband were to come to me and be like, I'm upset about something, and he, a few tears leaked out because he was having an emotional response to something he's going through.
Right.
I want that.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy as fuck.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that than a guy who holds things in and eventually explodes about something or whatever.
I think over my years of dating men, I've had men that have cried for manipulative reasons, and I've also had men that have cried for very serious reasons. And the ones that cry over things that are very serious, you can tell as a significant other, you can tell you're crying because you're being fucking manipulative. And it's like the guys that are like, oh, you cheated on me, whatever. I'm gonna go kill myself, whatever. Like, those are the performative tears. But when a man is crying over something that genuinely hurts him, it's different. And for me, it has always been eye-opening. And it's been, I didn't know that this affected you that much. I will change it immediately. I will do this. I will do that. But at the same time, it's like, well, what about me? So if I cry, you have to also take that seriously. Like, you have to make sure that you're taking my shit seriously too.
But no, because as women, we always cry.
Well, because I can't do anything else legally. I can't punch you in the fucking face.
Because we're also socialized to be able to cry.
Well, and I think
it's better than, like you said,
much
punching someone
cry.
in the face.
Yeah, I would much rather cry than yell. And that's something that I really don't do a lot of. I really don't yell. Maybe I used to. I don't know if I used to, but I don't yell. No. I don't like raising my voice because, and I think my toxic trait in an argument with a significant other is me getting quiet and saying, okay. Because that's me processing. That's me going, I need to figure out what's happening. Yeah, I need to, I don't want to say anything that I'm going to regret. So I'm just going to take in information right now.
Yep.
And, I think, I don't know. It's going back to the whole manosphere thing, man.
Yeah, that was a good one because that's like literally, we kind of wanted to wrap up this whole, like, talking about the friendships of men and women and like what that all means with talking about this documentary. Yeah. Because like, I really think it all connects and it all comes back to each other. Like, that's the reason why this is, I guess it's like the manosphere thing somewhat new. It's only been really prevalent, but it's just like a perpetuation and it almost like making it worse of what it already was.
Right.
And instead of men like getting enlightened and becoming better, I feel like a lot of men are kind of regressing even more. And it's like, you guys need to, we need to figure this out. You know?
Yeah, especially when like these people are being stopped on the streets and being recognized for like one guy was stopped by a group of kids that were like, yeah, fuck bitches. And it's like,
and they were racist.
They were like kids. Yeah. And they were gross, dude. They were really fucking gross. And like, yeah, some of like, there's racism. There's, it's just disgusting. It's so gross, the amount of racism and the amount of shit that you're seeing out there. And people are like acting like it's okay.
Right.
And it's like, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
So
it's messed up.
No, I think it was a good way to close everything because we definitely want to go into the Manosphere documentary more in depth, but we wanted to kind of talk about it right now because if you have not seen it, go watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It's really good. It's infuriating, but it's so eye-opening because I didn't realize how many like influencers there were that were genuinely like this and how they just talk themselves into a shitstorm.
I feel like most of them don't even believe anything that they're saying.
No, 100%.
They just are putting on some kind of show and trying to make money and, whatever. But it's causing a lot of negative ripples into real life humans' lives. It's kind of like the whole, increase in, at least in America, how the increase in, mental health issues and the increase in like violence went up with the internet. I feel like that it's like another way of that making it even worse. So
I think I definitely want to talk more about each person that was on it because I think everybody had such a different view on things and like you said, I think some of them didn't even believe what they were talking about. And you could see it very clearly on some of their faces.
I think that'll be our next episode, right?
Yeah,
like us like kind of breaking the episode down and like really like talking about it, because I think it's like an important thing to watch if you're in today's society.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
think at the very least be aware of it, because if it's on the internet, it affects everybody, especially if it's on the internet on a wide scale, like it is.
Especially anyone between the ages of like 40 and like children.
Yeah.
I could see it not really affecting anyone older than that.
Sure. But I think it also is helpful for people to realize, people that are older, why the birth rates are declining, and the amount of women that are single at age 40 are climbing.
Like how you kind of want your parents to see it, to understand like the mindset of men.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, and that was something that like I told my mom, like, this is how a lot of men are. So when you see me accepting bare minimum, or when you see me going, yes, he might be this, but also this.
At least this happens.
At least he doesn't fucking hate me. Like, I just like, and that's what you get a lot of from this documentary is. And I did see something on TikTok, I think it was earlier, that said that these men are not being taught to act like men. They're being taught to not act like women. And that's worse.
Right.
Because it's like, well, don't cry. Don't be a girl. Don't do this. Like, don't be a pussy. Don't do this. Man up. Like, and all of that falls under the category of you have to be a man about it. And it's like,
what does that even mean
what
anymore?
do you mean? Yeah. Be a man about it. Be a bitch about it. Because that's usually what I like.
Yeah.
That's what I correlate it with now.
Well, the way that it's going. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like, you're not manning up.
Right.
Like, actually, I feel like
manning up is like, you are allowed to have emotions, first of all.
Right.
You're just taking care of everything in a calm, de-escalating, normal human way.
Right.
You're not being an asshole and aggressive. That's not a man.
That's not it. And it's gross. If that's what men want to be associated with, being aggressive and being angry and being whatever, like, why? Don't you want to change that? Like, don't you want to not be known as that? Because being aggressive and being this or being whatever, isn't that what you guys tell us we are?
Right.
Like, and that was another thing that I saw a TikTok on also, is like when we're more emotional and moody during the month, it's because that's when our testosterone is the highest. And it's that's when we're acting more like you guys. So the rest of the month we're suppressing that. Like, that's us acting like you're fucking ass.
You're looking in a mirror and you don't like it.
Yeah, you just don't like it. Like, and we have to deal with it. So I think the one thing that I do want to leave the listeners with would be, for the men specifically, would be, when was the last time that you had a real, genuine, deep conversation with a male friend of yours? Right. What was it about? What did you talk about?
Like,
did you
really,
feel safe?
really,
like, has it ever happened? Yeah, I want to know, and maybe that's something that I'm going to post on the Instagram. I really want to know when the last time, because I know for like me and you, we talk about it all the time. We literally constantly talking about that.
If it's not like every 2 to 3 days, something's weird going on.
Right. Like, no, we talk about like deep shit. Like, oh yeah, I did this today and it kind of makes me feel like, I wonder if I'm ever going to be good enough.
Today I drank a glass of water, and then I thought about how water changes the world, and am I ever going to change the world?
Yeah. Like, do you think I'm ever going to do anything significant with my life other than this? And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Like, whoa.
And then, but the other person will always go, damn, you're right. I think that you have.
Right,
like,
right.
We support each other. We listen to each other, etc. And I would love to know the last time a man has done that. And if anything, the last time a woman has done that. I would love to see the difference in answers of like, oh, it's been years or it's been days. Like, I think that would be a really cool thing to see. So with that being said.
You said what you'd like to leave men with.
Yeah.
I'd like to leave men with, get good.
And get the big old fuck you. It's just you flicking the camera off.
JK.
No, I think if you're a guy and you're listening to this podcast, I think you're already kind of above the rest because you're listening to two women talk, and I think that's progressive of you already.
That's a good
starting point.
Yeah.
But I think that I would love to see men be more honest with each other, more real with each other, and if you do have female friendships, if you do have a best friend that's a girl and you have a significant other that's insecure about it, I think all that I ask there is like, understand where the woman is coming from, your significant other is coming from. Be honest. Everybody should be honest, open, and like transparent. And I think that's what makes it better.
100%.
Is that.
Right.
So
agreed.
But yeah, I think we've yapped enough about this.
Yeah, we can bury that one.
Yeah, we can go ahead and bury that one. We appreciate you guys listening, as always. I guess this is our little comeback, these comeback episodes of ours since it's been a while.
It's been a while.
But we're excited for the next one where we're going to be talking about the Manosphere more in detail. So we really want you guys, like if you guys do listen, please go watch that. Talk to us about it. DM us about it. We would love to hear your opinions so that we can talk about it on the next one. But yeah, I can't wait for the next one. Yeah. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye. Actually, you know what?